have you with us as we talk to you about what's going on in the world of sports. Here's Hector in Florida. Says hello. Hector, good afternoon. How are you today?
I don't know how I am today, man. I'm still upset from last night, man. You know, well, first of all, I'm not gonna state the obvious. Everybody already stated the obvious. It was a charge, shouldn't have been changed, right? And Ty Lue should have called timeout.
Yeah, he should have. The more we think about it, it's good boy, Hector. The more we've thought about it, he had 4.5 seconds to realize that he was doing something stupid. It was obvious that he didn't know the score. He thought it was they were up by a point, and Lue had a timeout to work with. I'm not saying that he would have done it instantaneously, but within a second or two, it should have dawned on him that knucklehead. Look at this. The guy doesn't know we're tied. He should have called a timeout. No question about it.
Right. Well, yeah, and then. But where he also messed up is, I mean, it wasn't me or did Clarkson look like a high school kid that just got picked up by the Cavs because they needed a fifth player. I mean, you got Rodney Hood on the bench. The guy's known to hit threes. Granted, he hasn't had the best playoff run, but Clarkson needs to not play another minute in these finals, man. I mean, the kid looked lost. The moment's too big for him, and Lue just left him in the game. He shot a three. They got the offensive rebound and shot another three, and he was way off. So it's like, I mean, what are you doing, Lou? And he did this in the prior series as well. And my third, I mean, the best moment for me last night, of course, was when Tristan hit. I mean, Draymond had that coming. Whatever happened to the taunt? I thought taunting wasn't allowed anymore in the NBA. I thought that was with the whole Mutombo with the no, and, you know, Draymond cries for every foul. I mean, you popped a blood vessel in the guy's eye, and you're still screaming and jumping around like you got ants in your pants for every single foul, even though it's obvious. And you know, what is that still a rule? I mean, I don't know. Can you?
Well, I mean, the taunting. You wanted to get him out for taunting with the Tristan Thompson thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was clearly taunting him.
Yeah, he was. He was. But the game was over then. I think they probably would have caught a technical on it if it was a little more in the body of the game. They let the last 20 seconds of that game, the officials, they allowed that to get away from them, to make a long story short. The last 20 seconds of that game, Tony Brothers and crew, that game got away. If they didn't call the whistle, didn't blow it, and they didn't call a flagrant foul, that wouldn't have gotten Thompson annoyed and everything else, and then you wouldn't have gotten Green to clap because, you know, Thompson got a tee. They screwed up those last 20 seconds. And they screwed up the, Mike Callahan screwed up the call, but, I mean, they didn't do a good job on the block charge. They missed a couple of other calls in the middle there at the start of overtime, and they had a very good 47 minutes to start the game. I mean, they really started the game off great, and then they finished off poorly. Here's Mark in Michigan. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mark, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Thanks for taking my call. You know, Chris, I gotta get into you about some of your rants a little bit. This has nothing to do with the topic of the NBA Finals or anything, but after you got into Steve's case about Indiana baseball, right, it kind of struck a nerve on something you said last week when you went off on Bryce Harper's dad and Bryce Harper for idolizing Mickey Mantle.
That was about a month. That was about 3 weeks ago. But I do understand. I can't take that bothers me. Somebody living in Vegas who never saw Mantle play, who's not a Yankee, who never saw Mantle play, never a day in his life, lives in Vegas. He doesn't live in New York. He doesn't live in the tri-state area. His grandfather didn't take him to the games. I got a problem with that. I'm sorry. I got a problem with that.
Okay, but then at the same time, you would have a problem with Jack Nicklaus idolizing Bobby Jones because you never saw him play, and Bobby Jones lived in Georgia. You'd have a problem with Eric Clapton and Keith Richards and all these guitar guys.
But I'm not interested in the guitar. Nicklaus and Bobby Jones is a little weird. Nicklaus is Bobby Jones won a Grand Slam in 1930. Nicklaus is a professional golfer in the late 40s, early 50s. Nicklaus ran the Masters. That's a little different. Golfer to golfer, that's a little different. Let me ask you a question. Where is the connection between Bryce Harper's father and Mickey Mantle?
Who cares? He's a baseball fan.
How do I know that? Why? Because he says he likes Mickey. Because he says he likes Mickey Mantle. I'm supposed to think he's great. I'm supposed to think he's Tom Verducci. How do I know that? Why do I have to take that at face value when I hear a 52-year-old guy who never saw Mantle play never saw Mantle swing a bat? Never at Yankee Stadium. Father never took him. Nothing. No connection to New York at all. Why do I have to assume that that person loves a player who's been dead for 23 years and who never saw him play?
Well, and then for the same token, how can Eric Clapton idolize Robert Johnson?
I'm not worried about Eric Clapton. You got the wrong sport. Forget that. I'm talking sports now.
About that, I'm making an equivalency about the topic you brought up about somebody not.
But I can't.
Play.
I can't. I don't know enough about the Clapton thing, so forget that one. Bring me a sports one. You gave me one with Nicklaus. I told you everybody who plays golf would idolize Nicklaus. Would idolize Bobby Jones. He won a Grand Slam, which is what they all strive for. Now, again, what is the connection?
But he never saw him play.
He plays the same sport, for crying out loud.
But he never saw him play. Bobby Jones retired from golf in the 30s.
Did Bobby Jones run Augusta?
He did, but he didn't. But he didn't compete when Nicklaus competed.
I understand that. We know that. But did he run Augusta? Was he in golf when Jack began his career?
He was running Augusta, and he was running the Masters.
So he was in golf. He was involved in his sport, correct?
But Nicklaus never saw him play competitively.
Was Bryce Harper's father a baseball player? Did he play in the major leagues? Did he play for the Yankees?
I don't know enough about him, but if a guy wants to idolize somebody, who cares what his background is?
Here's the point I'm trying to make, Mark. Anybody can say they idolize Mickey Mantle. Anybody can say that. It makes you be hip. Yeah, Mickey Mantle was my favorite. Anybody can say that. Well, and I'm going to then question, where is the connection? You didn't grow up in New York. Your father didn't grow up in New York. Your grandfather didn't grow up in New York, as far as I know. Mantle was dead by the time you were, before Bryce Harper was born, for crying out loud. And Mantle's career was over before you were born. He was born, I believe, I think he's 52. So he's 2 years of age when Mantle is wrapping up his career. And I believe he grew up in Vegas. So how in the world could he be a Mickey Mantle fan? Now, listen, my father was a Joe DiMaggio fan. He went to the games. So as a result, I got acquainted to DiMaggio because I got him telling me about DiMaggio because he sat in center field every single game watching DiMaggio play in the 30s and the 40s. Harper's father, I don't think Harper's father did that. Anybody can say, yeah, I'm a Mickey Mantle fan because it's cool to be a Mickey Mantle fan. Where is the connection? To me, it's just, I don't know. It's almost being politically correct in a sports sense. Let me tell people I'm a Mickey Mantle fan. Who could argue with that? 9 in front of the hour. We continue. Mad Dog Unleashed.